Hi everybody, this is Ron Chapman Jr. I'm Executive Director of Games for Life, and I'm bringing you another lesson in our series called Chess 101. Today we are looking at the Scholar's Mate, and that is simply a checkmate that has a name, and so we're going to look at what it is and how to stop it, and why oftentimes if you teach it to kids they'll use it over and over. It's pretty easy. The first thing we want to notice is we want to talk about the square that it's going to attack. That square I just highlighted is the F7 square. And that pawn is really weak, and that square is really weak because it's only defended by the king. If we look at the other pawns around king, they all have multiple defenders, but the pawn on F7 and then for white the pawn on F2, those pawns are very, very weak. So oftentimes attacks can be based or can be against those squares, and they can be highly successful. So that's what the Scholar's Mate is an attack against F7. So let's take a look at it. The first move is E4. That's a very common, very good opening. Okay, black responds with E5 and bringing out the bishop. And so we're looking at kind of like a main line of this, if you will. This is a common way this can look. Black had a lot of different options for their second move, or even their first move. But, you know, these are kind of common openings. Okay, and so bringing out the queen, this is kind of the characteristic of, or the telltale sign of the Scholar's Mate. So we can quickly look at this and we notice that the bishop's attacking the F7 square, and now the queen's attacking the F7 square. So if you have a young player, oftentimes they don't recognize that both of those pieces are attacking the same square, and they may make a move like that, which isn't bad opening theory, putting out a center pawn, but it just doesn't work in this case because then the white queen comes in for checkmate. We see the bishop supporting it, and of course the queen's attacking the black king. Game over. So that's kind of the basics of the Scholar's Mate. Again, quick attack on F7. Okay, so we'll look at another way that this can go. Okay, so again E4, E5, the bishop out early, and same type of defense from black. But this time, instead of bringing out the queen to H5, the queen just comes a little bit closer to his home territory, or to her home territory, on F3. But again, we notice the same idea. Both pieces are attacking this F7 square. So again, if black was to not notice this, maybe in this case he tries to attack the queen, seeing that maybe he has an opportunity there. Well, then he immediately loses again to the same combination. A queen takes on F7, attacking the king, bishop supporting it, game over, checkmate. Okay, so those are two quick examples of what the Scholar's checkmate can look like. So next we're going to look at what happens if maybe black knows a little bit about the Scholar's Mate, but isn't fully prepared for it. White can still win some serious material. Okay, so E4, same thing, E5, bishop out, and this time let's say that black makes a poor move by moving that pawn on A6. So not good opening theory, not developing pieces, not taking control of the center. And then black brings out his queen, but let's say, white brings out his queen, but let's say that black knows a little bit, so he blocks. Okay, now we see that access to that F7 square has been blocked by this pawn, but now queen takes on E5 and is checking the black king and is threatening this rook. Okay, so black can't deal with both threats at once. He has to block the check, and a rook is gone. And now black will have to move his king over in order to avoid having that knight taken, and so all types of trouble. White can follow up by taking a pawn, and then to avoid being checkmated right here now, again on the F7 square, black would have to bring his queen over, and so absolutely horrible position for black. White would have great chances in this of winning this game. So that's what happens when the Scholar's Mate isn't completed, but can still be very dangerous. Okay, so now that we've looked at the different checkmates for how the Scholar's Mate can work and how you can pick up some material, we need to talk about how to stop it, because if you teach this checkmate to children, I guarantee you they will use it very frequently. I've seen students use this for months on different students and actually win games with it over and over again. So this is how the scholar's mate can be stopped pretty easily and pretty effectively. Okay, e4, e5, bishop out. We'll say that we'll use this defense that we saw earlier and bringing out the queen. Okay, we see the attack here, the double attack from earlier, but this time black notices and blocks with that pawn. Okay, so the queen has to move, but instead of moving all the way back, the queen threatens checkmate again. Now let's say that black notices and blocks with the knight. Okay, so we see that the checkmate threat has been extinguished. Black has developed a couple pieces already, and so white doesn't really have much to do here. I mean, white could develop a couple more pieces. Black fianchettos his bishop, which is just bringing it to that highlighted square on the board, and then maybe white brings up the knight. Black castles, we'll say white castles, and now the position is pretty equal. Black has developed multiple pieces, his castle, his king's nice and safe. I mean, white's got a good solid position also, but black is in no danger here right now and should have, equal chances of winning this game. So that's a very easy and very effective way of stopping the scholar's mate. Again, if you're going to teach a scholar's mate to anyone, make sure to teach them how to stop it. Otherwise, you will see them use it. And if they use it and they don't use it correctly, while it's not necessarily a problem, this queen is out a little bit early, and black may try to attack that queen and see if black can, get a good advantage by either trapping the queen or just forcing white to move the queen around repeatedly and gain an advantage that way. So that has been the Scholar's Mate. Hope you learned something. And again, I'm Ron Chapman Jr., Executive Director of Games for Life. And thanks for watching. Bye.